Hi crafty friends, Melissa Minor here. Thanks so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. I am so excited for today's video. I'm participating in a Use Your Acrylic Stash Busting Hop, so be sure to check out the description box below for links to all my friends that are participating in today's hop, and be sure to check out what they have posted for their video today. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started on my layout. So for my layout here, I have chosen to use this sketch. This is from Bramble Fox. It's got 3 photos on the left in 3x4 size and 2 on the right in 3x4 size. It's got a little bit of mixed media here, and it has a title piece and some journaling. So here is the acrylic title that I want to use. It says Treasured Moments, and this is from Bramble Fox from their subscription kit. So I love that. And then I've got these 5 photos that I've chosen. This is my daughter Tatum, and on her 16th birthday this year, she wanted to check out this diner. So that's what we did the morning of her birthday, and it was so special. I've got 2 more photos here that are vertical printed. Here's her with a birthday card that I made her. Now the sketch showed for 3x4 size, so I actually first printed them in 3x4. But then once I started laying them out on my 12x12 paper, they didn't fit exactly. So I trimmed them down to 2x3, reprinted them. You can see here this paper pad I'm using. This is from Simple Stories, and this is the Boho Sunshine paper pad. I love the prints in this collection. I don't have all the collection. I just have this 6x6 paper pad. So I thought this layout was perfect to use these pattern papers. You can see here on the sketch, there's little strips cut in various sizes, so I did that. And then for this little piece at the top, like a clip, I just went into Cricut Design Space and typed in, I think I typed in binder clip, and I was able to print this out, so I'm excited that I have that. So I am going to set this aside, and we'll get started on making this layout. I want to show you here. So if I would have kept the photos in 3x4, see there's not really enough room for them. So I did cut these down to 2x3, and I think this works much better. So this is the general idea that I'm going with. I also have these tags that I printed. Now I did have a die that I used, and I went ahead and cut this out on my die cutting machine so that I can follow along with the sketch. Here's my acrylic piece that I want to use. I've got a stencil here and some mixed media that I want to play with. So we will get into that in just a moment. But first, I need to really jump in and get these pattern papers adhered to my layout. Oh, there's also this little piece that looks like a notebook. Again, I went into Cricut Design Space and I just typed in notebook edge, and I was able to size this to fit right on here, just like the sketch shows. So that was another win, I thought, in using my Cricut. I don't use it enough. And I actually have the paid subscription where you can get like all the files for nothing. I don't even know how much I pay for that, maybe $10 a month. I hope it's not much more because I don't use it enough. And so I was excited to actually print out a few things, because at first I was like, oh, I need to get a die for this. And then I remembered I've got the Cricut subscription, which worked out perfect. So here we go. I've got that notebook edge adhered on here. You can see here I've also, I print all my photos at home on the Epson PictureMate 400, which made this really easy to print out the new photo size when I needed it. So I'm going to adhere these little 2x3 photos to the little tags here that I printed. And just like the sketch, it looks like they just have the top edge showing. So I'm going to repeat that here. And then on my 3x4 size, I just backed that on some white cardstock and then again with some black cardstock. So I think that that black is really going to help draw your eye to the acrylic piece because it is black. And there is just a little bit of black in the paper, not a lot, but it does show through. So that's the general idea that I want to go with. Here's the mixed media I want to use. This is from Shimmers Paints, and this is a creamies called Trippin' in the Tropics. And I have this stencil here, and I believe it's a Vicky Boutin stencil. I don't have any labeling on it, but I think I want to put it like right here in these little sections. Maybe these dots. I'm not sure which of the circles that I want to use here, but I do have this laid out here on my desk to just kind of experiment with and see what's going to work best. So let me just pull this stencil out, and I think I'm going to go with the little ones. I really like those. So let me start working on this layout. All right, so I have went ahead and cut these pattern paper strips just in various sizes. I've got a 1/2 inch, I've got 1 inch, I've got 3/4 of an inch, just various sizes. And I think I cut 3 of each just to kind of, maybe 4. I think I cut 4 of each just to kind of give me a starting point. And on the sketch, they went all the way from the top to the bottom. So I am just staggering them, just not making sure that they're all matchy-matchy. I'm just kind of grabbing them, not taking a whole lot of thought into it, just placing them on my layout. So I went ahead and got that completed, and now I'm ready to stick down my photos and my little topper here. What do you call that? A binder clip. I do want to add a little bit of foam behind that binder clip just to make it pop up a bit, because thinking in real life, like if that binder clip, it was probably popped up on a clipboard or something. So I wanted it to have that more realistic look. So I'm going to put some foam on here and let that sit for a moment and dry before I adhere that. I can go ahead and adhere my photos here. I love these photos. So the top one there, that is the diner, and it's like retro. And then you can see the bottom photo is actually the outside of the diner. And again, this was on my daughter's 16th birthday. She had a lot of things going on at school that day. It was the day they go and get their photos, and we had to go get her driver's license, and then she had softball practice. So breakfast was the only time she had available. So I was so excited to take the day off work and just spend that time with her at this diner, talking, and it was just so fun. All right, so here is my title. Again, I want to put the mixed media like down below the tag and maybe on the top. So I am going to grab a pencil here and just draw out where these tags are going to sit. So that way I'll have a better idea of where to apply the mixed media. I want to make sure that I get the mixed media down on the page before I glue these tags down, so that I make sure that I'm not getting any paint on the photos. Has that happened to you before? I'm learning. I'm going to take the eraser here and just clean that up a bit. So we are ready to start with our mixed media. So for the creamies, now this is in the jars. Now from Shimmer's Paints, they come in little pans. So this is an older one, but this color is still available. And I am using a paintbrush here to mix it up with the creamies. You have to apply some water and then let it sit for a little while. And then instead of applying it with a paintbrush or like a plastic or anything, I am using one of these finger daubers. I have a ton of these and I don't use them enough, and they're so easy to use. So I'm just going to take the paint and I'm pouring it onto my glass mat with the paintbrush, and I'm just going through the places on the stencil and applying my mixed media. I find this is a cleaner way to apply your mixed media, and it doesn't make such a mess. And I really like the way that it turns out. All right, so I have this almost completed here. Just add a few more little dots. And I've sped this up quite a bit so you didn't have to watch all of that. I'm going to add a little bit of water here to my paintbrush and add a few splatters. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but I think the splatters add a whole lot to the detail of the mixed media. So that is complete. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and add this binder clip to the top over here. Got the foam on it, so we can adhere that. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then I want to go ahead and add my tags and get my title stuck down. So let's go ahead and see where this title is going to go. Let me look here. All right, I do think I want to add the photos first. I did add a little bit of foam to the top of the tags just to have them pop up a little bit. And that's because I want to add some ribbon up there to the top. And I think it'll be easier to apply if this is popped up at the top. I did not want the foam at the bottom because my tag's going to sit right there at the bottom. And I don't want any extra dimension there when I'm trying to adhere that tag, or trying to adhere the title, excuse me. All right, so I have these the way I want them. So now it's time to adhere my acrylic title piece. Now, most acrylic title pieces, you do have to peel off the backing. So just double check before you start gluing to see if there's a backing on there. And anytime I'm gluing my acrylics down, I like to use the Nuvo Deluxe glue. I find that it's a very strong glue and it dries clear. I've also seen people use glossy accents. So those are my two recommendations for gluing your acrylic title pieces down so that they will stay forever on your layouts. So I've got the title here ready. And this is so cute, Treasured Moments, and it was such a treasured moment, so it's perfect for this layout. And then for my journaling, I print this on my MacBook. I just size it to how I want it. You can see here, I put it in my printer upside down, but these are just Avery clear labels. And so I type my journaling up in the size that I want on a text box. I load one of these into my printer, usually in the rear tray, and then I just print it out, and then I can cut it down to size and adhere it to my layout where it looks like that it was typed onto my layout. So my journaling says, on Tatum's 16th birthday, we celebrated by going to breakfast at the charming Becky Thatcher's Diner in downtown Hannibal. The vintage atmosphere added a special touch to our morning together. We enjoyed delicious food and cherished the time spent before heading off to the DMV for Tatum's driver's license test. It was a memorable start to a milestone day filled with love and laughter. So you can see here I peeled off the backing. These are super sticky, so once you start pushing it down, there's no moving it. So make sure you have it just the way you want it. Then I'm applying a little pressure and burnishing it into the layout. You do want to make sure once you take it off the printer that you let it sit for a while before pushing on it because it could smear. I have my journaling, I have my tag. Now I need to add my little bows here to the top. So I've got a little bit of this black twine. Again, just to really dive in more to the black embellishments here and just to pull it all together. So I've got those, and now I found a couple little hearts in my acrylic stash as well. I don't know the brand on these. These were just loose in my acrylic stash box. So I'm going to add a couple of these hearts, and I am going to call this layout complete. I love the way that this page has turned out. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. And if you don't already follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me on those platforms as well. I will have a few affiliate links listed down below in the description box. If you're interested, it sure does help me out on YouTube, so I do appreciate when you shop my links. All right, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!